Har Har Mahadev, Mitra. Welcome back to my channel, Life with Singh, and welcome back to the series, Becoming Arjun Challenge. Not anymore a challenge that I was doing, but yes, it's an ongoing series of ours. So yes, welcome back to it, and let me just do a quick recap of what new has happened, and let's get to today's point. To do a quick recap, still reading these three books for now. Ashtavakra Gita. It is basically by Acharya Prashant, so it's not the Gita itself, but it's his commentary on certain parts of the book. Definitely a good recommendation. Does talks a lot about understanding duality, and that is kind of like the main theme of today's video for us. So quickly, second is India, that is Bharat by Deepak. Oh my god, so rich with knowledge, and it takes you a moment to like really get a grasp on it, and if you do read it very carefully and have a little bit of an open mind, because he has written it in a very much straightforward, very rich with facts and details, filled with it actually. So it might just take a moment for you to like grasp the situation that he's trying to explain. And the third one is Dhanurveda Summit. To tell you the truth, it has been kind of underwhelming. It is pretty much a lot about bows and arrows, and I don't know what to actually explain about it. It just has few lines and ideas and knowledge about what to do, when to start learning, which dates or which tithiya or which kind of like positions of moon is the best to start your learning, and which days you should not be practicing it. So it has been a bit underwhelming compared to other books that I've read. So this was a quick recap of what's still going on during this week. Also, I've changed my work count situation, so the way I'm working out has changed. If you're interested in it, let me know. Coming back to why we're here today is to discuss another book that had a very interesting influence on me, which is Friedrich Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil. My god, this book. Oh my god, this book. It has just absolutely mind-bogglingly ruined me in many stuff. I don't know how to explain it better than that. Basic gist of it. The book has been actually like it's his work, and it's mostly like aphorisms that he has written out. It's basically paragraphs, and in that he's basically putting forth and his thought that came to him, and he has formulated in a way that is asking you to question the world according to which he is seeing according to the thoughts which he's trying to use to apply to the world and see the world through them. And then he is asking you to basically question in a way. There's barely any answers given directly to you in his book. Not gonna lie, that is very true. He barely gives you any answers. He questions a lot, barely gives you an answer, and when the answers are given, you're still left a bit confused, like what the hell do I do with this now? So basically, like he was talking about like prejudices that philosophers have, what it means to be like a free spirit. History of morals was an interesting chapter for me. It's people and countries also, when he talked about, was very interesting, and you can actually see him. So this was like before the whole World War II German movement that is so famous throughout our history. He basically predicted that in this book. There is definitely a paragraph where he was talking about exactly something like that, and it's hauntingly like he kind of accurately predicted what's going to happen because of the weakness of the Europe that he was talking about that has happened, and why strength would be sought out for, and in other ways. I don't want to get into it too much. I am not even barely starting out over here, and I don't want to be cancelled, basically. Yes, also his what is a noble is a perfect chapter of his, and in that specifically one story that I definitely like was when he was talking about the god Dionysus, and he was basically talking about an instance from, I think, Greek law, where he's basically kind of like talking about him and like questioning him and taking out one of the specific lines where he quote unquote basically says that in certain circumstances I love humans. Like, he was talking about the fall, the kind of creature, the base that we are, and what we actually do that is so different from all the other organisms basically are doing. So he basically talks like that. In certain instances he loves humanity. Interesting phrase. Even if given a chance, I would like to use the same line that was said there. But yes, and he also said, like, if I could, I would make them more I need to read it. It's I don't want to ruin it by not being accurate with the line that he said. He basically said he would want to make them more stronger, more evil, and more profound. Yes, and it was questioned like stronger, more evil, and more profound, which was asked in a horror, that question. And yes, he says again, stronger, more evil, more profound, and also more beautiful. So with pretty much a smile, and this kind of ends where Nietzsche is writing in a way that when we look at this kind of divinity, one sees that it's not only shame that this divinity lacks, but in general there is a good ground for supposing that in some things the God could all of them come to us men for instructions, for we are more human. So he was talking about that part, and to me it was kind of different because it just kind of hit me in the terms of like, only by being more evil maybe we can bring out the more beauty in humanity. You see, it's the part of duality, like it was said. So the whole book, which is like beyond good and evil, it's in a sense talking about beyond duality, because good and evil are basically duality and being beyond duality. This is something that I actually see in our culture, and the respect that Hinduism per se has gotten throughout the world, it's from Advaita, Vedanta, which is not talked much in the Western philosophies either. But another quote that I would like to say before I actually touch upon duality again and what's beyond good and evil, what's beyond duality, I'll get into it. I do have an answer for it. That is also from, it's kind of like, to many people would be a superficial one. It would be from Advaita, it would be from our Upanishads or our Gita. Before that, I just say one more quote that was there that actually hit me very well. Like, one must renounce the bad taste of wishing to agree with many people, because good is no longer good when one's neighbor takes it into his mouth. And how could there be a common good? The expression contradicts itself. That which can be common is always of small value. So are we talking that good is of small value? If it is part of duality, good and evil, then to a point, yes, it is of small value. That being said, a continuation that in the end of things must be as they are and have always been. That's the truth in the end. Things must be as they are and as they've always been. That is the absolute truth that you will see. Great things remain for the great. The abysses are for the profound. The delicacies and thrills are for the refined. And to sum up shortly, everything rare is for the rare. Now, if we think about it, this is almost like not the karam. Like the karam would be great. The karam would be refinedness, delicacies or adventure. Karam would be doing something rare. And it almost kind of like flips the script, this whole quote, which is so important part of our Bhagavad Gita as well. It's not about the karam, it's about the karta. So if the karta is great, the things will be done by him are great. It's not like whatever he does becomes great. He himself would be doing stuff that the society terms as great. It is almost as if कि मैंने बुक उठाई और रखा, वो ग्रेट नहीं हो गया। अगर मैं ग्रेट हूं इसलिए मैं बुक उठा के उसे पढ़ रहा हूं। The act of reading is a great act, but I am great, so I will be automatically doing the great act. If I'm someone rare, the things I would be doing in itself would be rare. It's not that I do rare things and become rare. No. It is because you are rare, so the things that you will do would be rare. Common people can do rare things. It happens. तुक्का सक्का लगता है, तुम rare चीज कर दोगे. The point is, if you yourself, if you focus on the karta, if the karta is correct, if the karta is bound by dharma, then you will be following dharma automatically. It is not about the karam, it is about the karta. Focus on the karta and you can not just assume, be sure that the karam that is done by him would be right. So that is what it is. अगर हम भगवद गीता में देखें, कृष्ण अर्जुन को एक प्रॉपर कर्ता बनाने की बात कर रहे हैं. फर्स्ट चैप्टर इज ऑल अर्जुना's misconception, all the things that he is bound by, all the ethos and all the society that is instilled in him, all the agyan that we want to say is there in him. And the next 2nd to 18th chapter in the book that we are reading, which is of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is trying to get rid of all those misconceptions that are there in the first chapter. He is solving the karta. He is making Arjun the right karta. That's why when he said, "Jao tum yudh karo," and it will be the right thing, because I'm making sure right now you become the right person. And the moment you become the right person, the things that you will do would be considered right. Of course, बीच में भी कृष्ण जी को उठ के उठाना पड़ गया था, शस्त्र अपना प्राण तोड़ के उन्होंने चक्की उठा ली थी रथ की मारने के लिए, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे भी अर्जुन was not able to get rid of that hesitations and all that. वो प्रॉपर करता उस टाइम तक नहीं बन पाया था. उसने तुमसे नहीं होगा, मैं करूंगा. And the point is because Krishna himself was the correct karta. So he wasn't bound by his own prana of not taking up the weapons, because the right thing is to win the war. So he said, fine, I have to break my prana. मैं तोड़ूंगा अभी. मैं जाके, if I have to get rid of him because he's the biggest obstacle, Bhishma being the biggest obstacle, in a way, entire Mahabharata is happening because of Bhishma. I have to do it, I'll do it. I'm not bound by good, evil, morality. Christian is basically beyond good and morality. He is not bound by duality. He is not bound by anything. He is a proper karta. And when a proper karta is basically a witness. So yes, now let's get back to the duality. I think it's a good segue. So the whole beyond good and evil, duality. And the thing is, beyond good and evil, beyond duality would be oneness. So beyond duality and oneness is basically, oneness would be unity. It is not non-duality. Non-duality is the truth. That is the second step, and that is the final step in a way, if you want to put it in steps. That is not really done in steps, but it is kind of like that. Oneness is what you reach after you start to notice duality. To escape duality, to escape good and evil, you need to first start noticing it. You look at something is happening, you can think of yourself as a third person, and you can see ye sahi ye galat hai. You're witnessing that duality over there. The moment you can witness the duality, you can also see the boundary between the two things is not exactly a boundary either. वो boundary actually में exist नहीं करती. Like you are one individual, in front of you there's another individual. You can think of them so different from you. Either they can be your enemy, like certain part of them that you can't just tolerate at all, so they become your enemy. And some things are so much different in them that you see what is missing in you, and they become your dearest one, your obsession, your center of obsession, the one that you want because you think they will complete you. So they become your dearest. They can be a lover or they can be an enemy when you look at them. But the thing is, all the differences that you're seeing is kind of like superficial over there. And when you can see that superficialness, you just understand you're not that different, buddy. You're pretty much the same. But you don't want to even admit that you're pretty much the same. Because if you understand that an enemy is pretty much same as you, what does it say about you? That's the first question that comes to you. If your enemy is same as you, you are basically accepting that you hate yourself. You're seeing your image in them that you hate, and you don't accept that. Now comes to the part of it's a contradiction. Let me just complete. When I complete it, you'll see the contradiction, and you see your lover that you're talking about, and you see, they're not that different from me. They're pretty much the same as me. Now the scary part in that is you'll be like, why do I even love them? They're pretty much the same as me. They have the same faults as me. They're not at all different from me. It means they can't complete me. That's where sometimes love also dies. Whatever you are terming as love, that dies there because you can't really see the difference, the things that can actually complete you in them. And biggest point is there's no one who can complete you. That's the sad fact. So the oneness comes when you see that you're not that different, and a good way to understand that you're not that different is, okay, you're a human. What are you gonna do? You'll be born, you'll grow up, and you'll die. And in the middle of it, you will be filled with the want to be complete. There will be something empty in you. There will be a desire for you to be complete. Now, that desire for you to be complete is basically what Maya is. Maya is not that it's not real. It exists, but it is not permanent. It's an illusion. It exists, but it is not permanent. It exists for that moment. That's what illusion is. That's why हम माया को असत्य नहीं बोलते, but माया को हम सत्य भी नहीं बोलते, because it is in the middle. It exists, unlike asatya, jhoot, which does not exist itself. Maya exists, but it is not sustained forever, and which can't sustain itself forever can never be the truth. That's what it is. Now, that Maya is there to make sure your desires, which is the Maya, that you first and foremost sustain yourself, because job of humans, sustenance. Second, furtherance. So furtherance comes from your procreation. So another form of desire that hits you is wanting someone else. You think they will complete you, but they won't. But what that makes happen makes, I think I was gonna speak very wrong English, but yes, they're not gonna complete you. But when both of you come together, whatever that want and desire is results in a small chunnu of yours, which is part you and part them. So the desire for furtherance is at least fulfilled, even though that desire to be complete is not. The desire for furtherance, that you exist in some form or the other, is fulfilled. That is what it is. And everybody इन चार चीजों में बटते हैं, सब के सब. पैदा हो गए, you will grow up, and after growing up you will die when you have used all of your energy, and throughout this part you will be full of desire to be complete. Even झटपटाते हुए मरने के आसपास भी तुम्हारे अंदर सिर्फ एक झटपट आता है कि हाय मैं कंप्लीट हो रहा हूँ या नहीं, मरने से पहले मैं कंप्लीट हुआ हूँ या नहीं, मेरे को शांति मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी. That शांति is basically fulfilling the need of completeness जो तुम्हारी बात करते हैं. But then the whole point is completeness is not external. Well, completeness does not really exist either, not outside or inside, because the whole part of it is to understand that there was nothing missing in the end. It was all nature's plan to make sure you procreate in a way, for you to actually come and exist and live properly. That was what that was. It was a trick, it was an illusion. That is what Maya is. It's a trick to make sure you live. I know it's kind of like a bold statement, but yes, that is there. So yes, so you see the oneness when you understand that everybody is just doing this thing. आएंगे, बड़े होंगे, मरेंगे, and तुम्हारा पूरा desire है. And when you understand it, you just see the boundary separating you from anyone or things, good from evil, anything barely exists. You just see everything is the same. That is oneness, that is unity. That everything is one in that sense. There's a united factor there. Now comes, that is what actually kind of like you can say Shiv Bhakti is also like. कोई पद्धति नहीं, कोई तरीका नहीं करने का. जहर दोगे वो जहर भी है, धतूरे पे आ जाएंगे, बेल के पत्ते पे आ जाएंगे. Accepts देवता, दानव सब accept करते हैं. For him everything is one. He understands oneness. Now the next part of it is Advaita, which is truth. That is non-duality. That is not one, that is not two, that is not united, that is not thousand, that is not even zero. It does not exist. It's like it's beyond numbers in a way. And that's what Advaita is, that is what truth is. And truth is Satya exists whether or not you want to agree to it or not. It just exists. Many people kind of think like if you're in the path of good you will touch truth. Not necessarily. Good is kind of like a mixture of sense of justice, things that bring you pleasure, things that are not causing you harm. Like apple is a good fruit to eat, it won't kill you. You can't have too much seeds of apple, it has certain poison. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the names on YouTube channel, so I'm not going to say it. That's a different story. You can't have too much of it, that's bad for you. You can die because of it. So that's what kind of like good and bad you kind of do, that duality part of it. But in terms of truth is not going to bring you comfort. Truth is not going to make sure that if you follow truth, that you will be able to sustain yourself. Not really, not in this physical form at least. It is not going to bring you comfort. Most of the times truth is going to bring you horrors towards you. And another quote of this book actually: the strength of the mind might be measured by the amount of truth it could endure, or to speak more plainly, by the extent to which it required the truth to be attenuated, veiled, sweetened, damped and falsified. I like that quote. So yeah, truth does not bring you happiness, not really, but the thing is, you kind of can, if you're with truth, turns out you're doing the right thing, that is equated with good most of the times, because being with truth mostly on average brings a positive outcome till it stops bringing in a positive outcome, and it brings out all the necessary sacrifices that you need to make, and it makes you as uncomfortable and as negative responses that you can get. Truth also brings that, so it's not that. And in an Indian context, to be beyond good and evil, you need to wrap yourself with Dharma. That is not religion. Very important part. Never confuse religion with Dharma. Dharma is your righteous duty according to the situation. And more important part of Dharma is to sustain. And sustaining what? It could be society or anything, but mainly Dharma is to sustain the truth. सत्य को sustain करना. सत्य की स्थापना, धर्म स्थापना तभी होगी जब सत्य की स्थापना हो. That is what dharma is. It is for the sustenance of truth. So actions that sustain truth, satya, that's what dharma is. And that's why when you are under the command of dharma, you are beyond good and evil, because you do whatever dharma dictates. You are a servant over there. You have no mind of yours. And when you are not veiled actually, but when you are properly aligned with dharma, that's when you become a proper karta, like Arjun, that you are aligned with dharma. So the actions in the end, the karam that will be done by you would be the right actions, because those will be the actions for dharma. So being beyond good and evil, simple fact, need to be aligned with it. It needs to be the one giving you orders. Either in a taxi they are the customer and you have to follow wherever they want to go, or dharma needs to be one pulling a chariot. And if dharma is pulling a chariot, the work that is the karam that is going to be done by you would be to sustain the truth, and that would be the correct thing. There is no option of doing the wrong thing when you are aligned with dharma. That's the point. If you fix the karta, the karta is not going to make the mistake of doing the wrong thing. That's what it is. That's how simple it is. That's how complicated also it is, because you can say ki but Arjun kinda did make mistakes and all, but no. Read proper Mahabharat. In the war he has made no mistakes. He has done according to what a correct karta is supposed to do, and wherever his hands were hesitating, dharma was telling him, why the hell is your hand hesitating? Go shoot that arrow. When other people were making demands of fight by dharma, remember your dharma, Krishna reminded them, who are you to talk about dharma? Entire life you have been with adharma, and you at the point of battle, just for your advantage, you think you can talk of dharma and get away with it. No, that's not what dharma is. Dharma is going to make sure that whatever adharma you have supported, just because you just say out loud that to the other person who is dharmic in himself, is like, remember your dharma, and that should give you a safety net. That is not what dharma is. That is going against the truth. That's why Karna wasn't given a chance to get back on his chariot. He had to fight from the ground with his bow and arrow, and he had to do it Arjun had, just to let you guys know, there were many instances where Arjun had to fight from the ground, where he had fallen from the chariot, and he fought from the ground. That is given. That whole glorification of Karan that has been done for some reason is very stupid, in my opinion also, that you giving him a victim card in that sense कि भाई उसका तो चैरियट का क्यों निकाल रहा था, तो बोल दिया था भाई इस टाइम पे तुम क्या धर्म की बात कर रहे हो, चुपचाप तब तुम्हारा धर्म कहाँ गया था जब तुम ये हरकत कर रहे थे, when you called द्रौपदी वैश्य, जब तुमने बोला था कि उसी तरह का में जो she needs to be treated in this way. How dare you are talking about dharma at the end of the moment? Who are you to talk about it? And Krishna told Arjun, forget whatever you chupchap jao lado. And that's what he did. He fought, and Karan had to fight from the ground. It was not adharma. And Arjun, he might have been hesitating because of his ego as a warrior to be on equal footing and defeat my enemy on equal footing, fighting. No, that's different. धर्म के बारे में तुम honor भूल जाओ. Honor is just to satisfy your ego. You live by honor is a very good thing, but in the end of the day, honor is just to satisfy your ego. That you can die peacefully, that my ego is always satisfied. That is what, in essence, honor is. You satisfy your own ego, and you make sure you're not stomping on anyone else's ego. You kind of mistake it with dignity also, but real dignity comes from dharma. It does not come from the basic idea of honor that you have in you. Not really, no. And if you want to understand honor in something, you can actually look at Bushido as well, which was from Miyamoto Musashi, that I'm actually going to be reading his book, the Book of Five Rings. I would be reading that, so I think that is good enough for today. I think it was a long conversation. See you again next time. Har Har Mahadev, Mitra.